And Nathan continued to meditate as to the stumbling block he might contrive for him. And after a while Nathan turned it over in his mind, and wrote a letter to Achish, son of Shah the Wise, king of Persia, saying thus: Peace and health and might and honor from Sennacherib, king of Assyria and Nineveh, and from his chancellor and his secretary Ahikar unto you, great king. Let there be peace between you and me. And when this letter reaches you, if you will arise and go quickly to the plain of Nizrin, and to Assyria and Nineveh, I will deliver up the kingdom to you without war and without battle array. And he wrote also another letter in the name of Ahikar to Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Let there be peace between you and me, mighty king. If at the time of this letter reaching you, you will arise and go to Assyria and Nineveh, to the plain of Nizrin, I will deliver up to you the kingdom without war and without fighting. And the writing of Nathan was like to the writing of his uncle Ahikar. Then he folded the two letters and sealed them with the seal of his uncle Ahikar. They were nevertheless in the king's palace. Then he went and wrote a letter, likewise from the king to his uncle Ahikar. Peace and health to you, to my vizier, my secretary, my chancellor, Ahikar. Ahikar, when this letter reaches you, assemble all the soldiers who are with you, and let them be perfect in clothing and in numbers, and bring them to me on the 5th day in the plain of Nizrin. And when you shall see me there coming towards you, haste and make the army move against me as an enemy who would fight with me. For I have with me the ambassadors of Pharaoh king of Egypt, that they may see the strength of our army and may fear us, for they are our enemies and they hate us. Then he sealed the letter and sent it to Ahikar by one of the king's servants. And he took the other letter which he had written and spread it before the king, and read it to him and showed him the seal. And when the king heard what was in the letter, he was perplexed with a great perplexity, and was angry with a great and fierce rage, and said, I have shown my wisdom. What have I done to Ahikar, that he has written these letters to my enemies? Is this the way he pays me back for my benefits to him? And Nathan said to him, Be not grieved, king, nor be angry, but let us go to the plain of Nizrin, and see if the tale be true or not. Then Nathan arose on the 5th day, and took the king and the soldiers and the vizier, and they went to the desert, to the plain of Nizrin. And the king looked, and Ahikar and the army were set in array. And when Ahikar saw that the king was there, he approached and signaled to the army to move as if in war, and to fight in array against the king, as it had been found in the letter, he not knowing what a pit Nathan had dug for him. And when the king saw the act of Ahikar, he was seized with anxiety and terror and perplexity, and was angry with a great rage. And Nathan said to him, Have you seen, my lord the king, what this contemptible person has done? But do not be angry or grieved or pained, but go to your house and sit on your throne, and I will bring Ahikar to you bound and chained with chains, and I will chase away your enemy from you without toil. And the king returned to his throne, being provoked about Ahikar, and did nothing concerning him. And Nathan went to Ahikar and said to him, Wallah, by gosh, my uncle, the king truly rejoiced in you with great joy, and thanks you for having done what he commanded you. And now he has sent me to you, that you may dismiss the soldiers to their duties, and come yourself to him with your hands bound behind you, and your feet chained, that the ambassadors of Pharaoh may see this, and that the king may be feared by them and by their king. Then Ahikar answered, To hear is to obey. And he arose right away, and bound his hands behind him, and chained his feet. And Nathan took him, and went with him to the king. And when Ahikar entered the king's presence, he did obeisance before him on the ground, and wished for power and perpetual life to the king. Then said the king, Ahikar, my secretary, the governor of my affairs, my chancellor, the ruler of my state, tell me, what evil have I done to you, that you have rewarded me by this ugly deed?